Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books, and I've been covering Warner Brothers Discovery very closely these last few months. They have a very serious problem with the DCU. It is Shazam. He is not making money. He's supposed to be making money. He's out there not making money. The first weekend has not turned out well. They only did $30 million. You know they were hoping to do at least 60, and they were praying for maybe getting $100 million. But they got 30. 30's not good. It's not doing as well as the original Shazam movie did. The original Shazam movie did $367 million worldwide. That was a profitable movie. It only cost $100 million to make. They probably spent $100 million promoting it. They had some cash left over when they did it. Maybe they made $70 million. Maybe they made $100 million on it. They also sold it into other distribution channels. It should have been a successful franchise, but it didn't turn out to be a successful franchise. These movies can't make it on their own anymore unless they're a really hit single character. When you have something like Batman, Batman can do it, there's no question. $770 million for Batman. Batman's going to keep making money for the DCU as long as they make strong Batman movies. And they're going to keep doing it. They've got Matt Reeves in charge, making his Batman movies. They're going to do just fine. But a standalone Shazam movie, no, it's not going to work. Especially because it's not part of an ongoing story. It's a cul-de-sac. It's a dead end. It's a lame duck. Den of Geek calls it really well. Shazam 2 and the birth of the lame duck superhero movie. Shazam Fury of the Gods might be the first victim of a new Hollywood trend. Shared universe movies that lead to nowhere, because this was not going to continue some overarching story. We know Marvel is starting to fall into the problem of not focusing on its phases, not having an overarching story. We know that the author of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was silly enough to say in an interview he didn't care about phases. He's got some ideas and some plans. When everyone is busy focusing on Marvel Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 4, what's going to happen with Phase 5, production is coordinated around it. Guy who's supposed to be writing the Avengers is not even aware of it or concerned about it. Big leadership problem over at Marvel. But this is really about DC and what their future is. Right now, the future is mixed. They really need to figure out how to make good movies. They can't really have any more mistakes. I don't blame them for Black Adam. I don't blame them for the failure of Batgirl. I don't even really blame them for Shazam. What was Warner Brothers Discovery's new management supposed to do with these finished and nearly finished projects other than put them out, do the best they can? In the case of Batgirl, it was so terrible they couldn't even release the damn thing. Okay, that's not really their fault, but at some point they have to produce something good, and it's only going to be a year next month in April 2023 from the completion of their acquisition. It's all very new, but there really are no excuses. They have to put out successful work. It looks like The Flash is going to be successful. According to Tom Cruise, and he is the guy who just did Top Gun Maverick, The Flash is a masterpiece and Tom Cruise loves it. From Comic Book News, DC insiders are liking what they're seeing with DC's Scarlet Speedster that officially comes out in June 2023. Supposedly, it's a great movie. It's a perfect superhero movie. James Gunn loves it. David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, loves it. It had better be good. They need to make money on this movie. They can't afford for this to be another Shazam. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think The Flash is going to be a serious hit for Warner Bros. Discovery? Because it really needs to be. They can't keep having weak movies and failures. Black Adam was a weak movie. Dwayne Johnson had ideas about what he wanted to do to resurrect the DCU. Under Walter Hamada, it wasn't doing so well. Okay, he tried. It didn't make sense to me because you can't have a supervillain featured in their own movie and it be an important part of an ongoing universe. You just can't do that. They don't belong. They belong defeated. They can be featured, they can be exciting, they can drive a lot of the action, but you can't have separate movies. You can have a Thanos movie? What's the next thing they're supposed to do? Doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you. I would never have allowed that. I would definitely have wanted to be in business with The Rock, but I wouldn't have allowed a separate superhero villain movie right next to a superhero movie against the brand of superhero. It worked for the Joker. That's a separate niche movie. It's a weird little movie. You're gonna do a weird little movie, and I like the Elseworlds brand, that's fine, but to do it as a mix where here is Shazam right next to Black Adam, right next to the Batman, it just doesn't make sense to have villains featured that way. Why Shazam failed? There's a couple of reasons why Shazam failed. Zachary Levi claims a lot of the fault has to do with Dwayne Johnson not allowing Shazam to be shown being recruited at the end of the movie by the Justice Society and no crossover features with Black Adam. There wasn't enough excitement about Black Adam that was going to save Shazam. Superman couldn't save Black Adam. Superman was not going to save Shazam. Shazam was basically over. People weren't that interested in it. And it's terrible when that happens. People spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy hoping that these things are going to work. They don't work out ultimately, and it's too bad. But you have to just move on, because that is publishing. That is content. Sometimes people love it. When they love it, you got to franchise. When they don't love it, you got to drop it and move on. Now, there's a rumor going around, Grace Randolph started this, about how James Gunn is now casting Superman Legacy for all races and ethnicities. This is a little bit suspect. I'm going to tell you why. Here's what the claim is from Grace Randolph. It's weird, despite recent insistence that he's not casting. There's casting breakdowns going out to all talent agencies for Superman Legacy for Clark, Lois, and Jimmy, early 20s, open to all ethnicities. Well, first of all, if this was coming out and it was actually coming from the studio, it doesn't mean that they're actively casting multiple ethnicities and they're actually putting people into these roles. Companies, when they put people into positions, often have what they call ghost jobs. These ghost jobs are the latest thing workers need to worry about. This is coming from Fortune. That role you're applying for might actually be fake. Why would companies have fake roles in the first place? Agencies do things like this on their own to create interest, to create buzz, and to create a list of resumes they can utilize, because they're in the business of selling people. They must have people to sell. They must be ready the moment that James Gunn snaps his fingers and says, hey, send me your best 3 or 4 picks for Superman or for Lois Lane or for Jimmy Olsen. Is it possible that James Gunn over the next 3 or 4 months is going to start looking for cast candidates for Superman Legacy? Yes, absolutely, because they're going to want to get that movie out as quickly as they can possibly get it out. They're going to be looking for candidates. But just because there's some rumors going around or some statements going around that they're looking to hire people for multiple roles, it's also not even clear what role and what ethnicity. So it's a bit of a stretch to go ahead and say, yeah, they're casting for it, they're hiring people for it, and decisions have been made. They're far from having been made. Now, you've heard that there have been massive changes at Marvel. These changes include Bob Iger saying they no longer want to focus on making sequels. Well, after the disaster on Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, where they're going to have to explain to investors, which is what Bob Iger was doing, why, well, look, there's really nothing wrong at Marvel. He actually said that. He actually said there's nothing fundamentally off with the Marvel brand. We just need to stop doing all our sequels and really cut back on our sequels and introduce new characters. Clearly, they have serious problems at Marvel, which hopefully DC is not going to repeat, and they're going to get their basics right. Victoria Alonso was fired, and this is really interesting because she was with the company since 2006. But the thing that got her fired was her ridiculous woke agenda push. And her push, where it says here very specifically, now, 2 things. One, it came out tonight from Variety that she was fired not by Kevin Feige, not by Bob Iger, but by a consortium, a group of people in multiple departments that said, let's get together and throw her out of the company. She's incredibly destructive. We need to fix this company. Here's from the article. While the cause of Alonso's termination is unclear, the sources said a decision was made by a consortium, including Human Resources, Disney's legal department, and multiple executives, including Disney Entertainment's co-chairman, Alan Bergman, to whom all of Marvel Studios reports. Alonso's longtime boss and Marvel's chief creative officer, Kevin Feige, felt mired in an impossible situation and ultimately did not intervene, one source added. Alonso was blindsided. Well, the thing that got her fired was this. Aside from not delivering and making sure that all the content was solid, the stories were good, the visual effects were finished, and that people were comfortable with what was being asked of them to do when they were working on the projects, she had this problem. Simultaneously, she worked to become a brand on her own, a rare openly LGBTQ person and woman of color in a visible leadership role, known for her fiery passion and outspokenness over diversity and inclusion in Marvel's storytelling. Of course, if you're focused on storytelling, diversity and inclusion have absolutely nothing to do with storytelling. And any type of focus on what's the character's skin color, are our characters inclusive enough, that's destructive to storytelling, because all stories are about human themes that transcend the characters. And this is something that Victoria Alonso didn't care about and didn't understand. She was there to push an agenda. I'm certainly hoping that James Gunn, all the people at Warner Bros. Discovery understand that that's not going to work. It doesn't create franchises, that the stories have to transcend the physical attributes of the characters, or they just don't work. We're going to have to see what they do. The stock of Warner Bros. Discovery has been doing well recently. The Wall Street Journal did this article, Warner Bros. Finds one cash flow story to rule them all. Media giant focuses on debt reduction amid advertising and streaming weaknesses and has a brighter year ahead. What they're talking about here is in the last quarter, Warner Bros. Discovery, while they didn't have great income because they had expenses from all the write-downs, all the garbage, and all the restructuring they're getting through, their free cash flow was astronomical. It was something like $2.48 billion when it was anticipated to be $700 million. They're absolutely focused on getting cash in the door no matter what. Warner Bros. Discovery also won over 2 more Wall Street analysts for upgrades on the stock. They're very happy that the company is focused on generating absolute true profit cash and paying down their debt. They understand that while Warner Bros. Discovery still has some $50 billion in debt, they've already paid down $8 billion in debt since April of 2022. And as they continue to pay down debt and generate more and more cash and expand their distribution more and more and build up their franchises, the thing ultimately becomes a money machine. Unlike Disney, that's really still struggling and can't even get its franchises straight. This is the one thing that Warner Bros. Discovery must get done properly. They have to make sure that their franchises please the fans, and that when you go to see Batman or you go to see a movie based on any of their characters, this is what you were expecting, you're pleasantly surprised, it's really, really cool, and you want to tell your friends about it, and you get lost in the story. And that the human themes that are represented by the characters' journeys transcend the physical aspects of the characters. You lose yourself in the story. That's the whole idea of doing this kind of storytelling. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Do you think Warner Bros. Discovery is going to get it right? Did you see this bomb with Shazam Fury of the Gods coming? Do you think they have Flash right? They've made changes to the Flash. We know Aquaman 2 is not necessarily going to be so good. They're still working on that one. Are you worried about Aquaman 2? But do you think this creative team understands what they need to do, and are they going to get it done? This is really a once-in-a-lifetime chance for the DCU to get it right and start to really build substantial momentum while Marvel is years away from fixing whatever it is they have to fix. Firing Victoria Alonso is not going to save the company. They've got plenty of other producers who are troublemakers. They have so much rebuilding they have to do. It's going to take them years to put out anything good. This is the one chance that Warner Brothers has to really do the DCU right. So let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Really love to see your comments. Please be sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.